Okay, so there are a lot of Capcut tutorials on YouTube, but in this video, I'm going to show you how to download, install, and use Capcut as a beginner while editing an actual video. So without much talking, let's get into the video. The first thing you need to do is to get Capcut. And to do that, open your web browser and go to the address bar, type capcut.com. Now, this web page is going to be displayed to you. All you have to do is come to this button right here, download Capcut desktop, and click on it. Then you save the exe file. That is all. The next thing you do is to install Capcut on your PC and launch it. I'll click on the start, search Capcut and open. So after launching Capcut, you're going to be greeted with this window. Now I'm basically just going to explain what it stands for. This section here is for you have your account, you have the home tab, you have the share history, and in the middle section here you have a button to create your new project. You have the auto frame, reframe, create image. Also down here we have our projects. This is basically the list of projects we've worked on before. Now you can simply search through the project, you can change the way it looks, and you can also see the projects you've deleted and empty the trash as well. So all we have to do is to click on new project to create our own project. Now, one thing I want to mention before we start is that you must first of all understand the hardware requirements of Capcut and your PC you're using, so that you don't get disappointed. This is the second time I'm making this video. Yesterday, when I was making this video, my PC crashed. It's 3 in the morning. I was editing a video on this bad boy here, and he crashed. That's what you get for being a content creator with doing tech. She ran into a problem and just went off because it was overloaded. I was using the internet, I was using Capcut, and I was recording at the same time. So always understand the hardware requirements. If you don't, I will leave a link to a video in the description below where I explain the hardware requirements for Capcut. So after opening Capcut, you're going to have this window. It's pretty simple and easy to understand. So to the top left here, we have our menus. We have the file, the edit, the layout, the more, and all the like. And just below that, we have our tools here. We have the media tab, we have the audio tab, the text, the stickers. To the center, we have our player. Here is where we are going to see the display of what we are editing. And to the right of this, we have our details. This also changes to properties whenever you click on something else. Now above this, we have shortcut. If you click on shortcut, you're going to see a list of key controls that you can use to make your work faster. You can also edit it by clicking and editing. When you're done, you just save, but I'm not going to do that. And we also have our share, and then we have export, which is the final thing you're going to do at the end of editing. Below all of this, we have our timeline, and just above the timeline, we have these tools here and these layout options. Okay, so that is basically the way Capcut is laid out. And one thing you can also do is to rearrange them. So I can just click on the player and remove it from here. So I have my player as a different window, which I can remap, like snap to a different section of the window or bring it back. So if you're not cool with the size, you can always remove it from there, arrange it the way you want. Okay, so that is the layout of Capcut. We are going to import our clips to start editing our video. But before that, here is something you want to always do. Now, always come to modify here and click on it. Now this is going to give you your project settings where you can change the name. I'm simply just going to name this as mobile phones, and you can always change the aspect ratio. I'm going to set my aspect ratio to 2:1 and frame rate at 30 fps. Now come to performance and turn on proxy. Now what proxy does is this: if your footage is, let's say you shot your video in 4K, proxy is going to reduce that quality on your edits, meaning that it's going to turn into a 720 video or a 540 video. But when you're exporting, it doesn't affect your video at all. It just helps your machine run it better. This might take up some storage, so after editing and exporting your video, you have to go and delete all proxy files because it takes up storage on your hard drive. So I'm going to turn on proxy, and the resolution I want, I'm going to put it at low, the lowest resolution, and I'll click on save. So I've done that. On what I can do now is click on import here to import all my video clips. Now organization is key. Always organize your video. Before you start editing, make sure you have all your video clips in place, you have all your b-roll, you have your music, and you also have your audio. So I'm just going to click on import, and I have this folder, Capcut editing, containing all the files I'm going to be using here. The video I'm going to make today is a video about mobile phones, and I don't have an A-roll. All of these are B-roll shots, and I took them from pexels.com. So all I have to do is select the folder and come down here. I can choose to import, open the folder and import the individual files, or import the folder itself. So I'm just going to click on import folder, and here we have it. So I'll just double click on this, and I have all my files. So if you click on any of these imported files, the player is going to show you a preview. This little faint vertical line shows you your playhead. So you can basically just set a start point. Like if you wanted to import the video from here, you can just cut it out like this and click on add. So it's just going to add the video from where you cut it out. So here's my clip. I'm just going to click on it. I'm just going to click on it and delete. So you can set an in point as well as an out point. The shortcut is I for in. So if I click on this and I press I at this point, so it's just going to know that where my playhead is, that's my in point. And somewhere here, if I press O, I'm going to understand that that is my out point. So if I import this clip into my timeline, I'm just going to import the section. I hope it's pretty simple. Okay, so the first thing I want to import is my audio, because I am going to be matching the B-roll to the audio. Like I said, I don't have an A-roll. So this is my audio file here. I'm just going to drag it and drop it into my timeline. Okay, now as you can see, we have this section for the main clip. It's unoccupied. I want my audio to occupy that. So one thing you can always do to convert like text, stickers, adjustment layers, audio to clips, create a compound clip. So if I right click on this audio, I'm going to have this option to create a compound. So I have my audio here, and let's run through the controls. I have the first one here is our selection mode. So if you click on this drop down list, you click on this drop down list, you have the option to select, you have the option to split, to select forward, and to select backward. And we also have our undo and redo button options here. We have our split. This split is used to cut a clip into two. Press Ctrl Z to undo, and this delete to right left is basically to delete whatever comes before the playhead on the selected clip. So if I click on this, it's going to delete that. Press Ctrl Z to delete, and delete right is to the right. And we also have our delete button here to delete the entire clip, and we have this mark bits and add mark. I don't use this often, so you're not going to need it as a beginner. To the right here, we have our record. You can also do voiceover after arranging your B-roll. We also have this option here, turn off main track magnet. So I'm just going to import let's just import some clips as the main clips here, and the size is pretty much simple. You can come to the zoom slider here and increase the zoom so that you have a better view, or you can just stretch on your mouse to zoom in and pinch in to zoom out. So I'm just going to stretch to zoom in. Now you can always move your playhead to wherever you want to start playing, but you can simply just scroll through using gestures if your mouse supports it, or your operating system. So let me just explain these four options here. Now the first one here is turn off main track magnet. Now this main track magnet simply means if I turn this off, and I can simply drag it and have this space here. But once this is turned, all main tracks will be magneted to each other. And this other option here is turn off auto snapping. Now auto snapping is used when you want to. Let me just split this. Split, you can simply use Ctrl K to split. So I've splitted this clip. If I drag it and I'm bringing it this way, you're going to see this blue line. This is what we call auto snapping. It helps you adjust your clips in a certain way. So if I turn this off, I'm not going to have those lines again. So always turn it on, because you need them, especially when your hands are not very steady. So I'm going to undo all of this, and this one here is turn off linkage. Turn off linkage. If you have a file and it is linked to an audio file, let's say a video file linked to an audio file, if you turn off linkage, you can edit the audio separately from the video, move it around without actually moving the audio. And the other one here is turn on preview access. This preview access is basically just like another playhead that you just use to scrub through without actually using your playhead. So it's pretty handy as well. Okay, so those are the controls we have here. I'm really going to delete the long clips, rush through the audio, and cut out the parts I don't want. These days. Okay, so I just finished cutting through the audio. There are various clips for the audio, and I'll just be playing this and mapping the audio to the B-roll. Before I map this, let me just explain some few things. Now, if you select an audio file, let me zoom in a little bit. Now, you have this thin line, this thin horizontal line here. Now, this is the volume adjuster. You can increase the volume as well as reduce the volume. Just going to undo that, and you can as well set this little dots at the beginning and the end is to set a fading and as well as a fade out. You can also access the settings from up here. Now you have like the basic settings to increase the volume and reduce it. You can also increase the fading to the duration you want, increase the fade out, and you have these other settings for voice, therefore sound. I'm not going to touch that. You can also change the way your voice is, like electronic, energetic, or high. You can also like speed it up. Like if I put it at 2 times, you're going to notice that clip is now half the length because it's now faster. I'm just going to bring it back and undo all of this. Okay, so those are the settings you can apply to your audio. Now I'm just going to be playing this and adding the B-roll. These days, mobile phones have taken over as our favorite gadgets. Okay, so I'm going to look for something introductory. Yeah, I'm going to add this. Now on our player here, you're going to discover that since I'm using aspect ratio 2:1, I have these dark spaces here. So I can just click on the video clip and I have these settings. Now on the basic, we have a scale. I can increase the scale to fit the entire screen, and I also have this position and rotate down here. Alignment as well. I can turn on stabilize if I have like a shaky footage. I can also turn on noise reduction and stuff like that. We also have the cutout section where you can also cut out people, like remove background. You can set chroma keys and remove green screens. You also have your masking to mask out a certain portion. You have your enhance, so like this is more like Photoshop in Capcut. We also have our speed, like we saw on audio. We have animation, in, the out, and the combo. You can use this more. You can use this maybe where you don't want to use transitions, and the last is adjustments. This one is where you do your add your LUTs and you do color grading. So I'm just going to come back to video and come back to basic. So I've increased the scale. I'm going to play this and see if this clip is our favorite gadgets, almost like tiny. Our main clip, our video here, I forgot to mention something. You can always cut it out by delete it, right, and delete that portion, or you can always come to the edge of it, click and drag to freely delete the portion you want. I'm just going to delete this and I'll add this to the video, and I'll need to increase the scale to fit the entire screen and adjust the position. So I'm just going to drag this down, but I need everything to be visible, including this cake right here. So I'll just reduce the scale. I need to fill up this portion in black with something. Now I'll just copy the clip and paste it. Copy, Control C, paste is Control V. So I'll increase this clip below the main clip and I'll have this right here. I want to apply a blur effect to this clip at the bottom. Now the position of the layers basically tell you which one comes first. The top layers show first, the bottom layers behind. So I'll go to Effects and search for blur. Now make sure you're connected to internet. Now I'm simply just going to drag and drop the blur effect on it. So I have something like this, and you can always adjust this. So change the position of this to something like this. I'm just going to delete this section and import where somebody's making a call. Import it here and just increase the scale. I'll delete to the right by pressing W on my keyboard and look for where somebody is texting. So I want it to start here. So I'll press Q to delete the right. And since I turned on auto magnet, now delete to the right. This is where having a top-notch camera. I'm going to take a footage of somebody recording right here. Increase the scale and adjust it. So this one looks scale is a little bit off. I'll increase it a bit again. Now this is a little bit dark. I'm going to come to adjust and go to color wheel. Rather, let me just go to curves and brighten it up a little bit. Just going to brighten it up and increase saturation, brightness. That looks cool. Okay, so while adding this, I discovered that some of my B-roll has audio in it. So for you to remove the audio, you can just turn down the volume, or you right click and click on this option, extract audio, and you can delete that section. This also has audio. I'm just going to right click at audio and delete. Here, same right click, extract audio, and so I've just finished arranging everything. Think it's okay. So what I need to do now is to add text. So for you to add text, you can simply come to the text tab over here and you can add text based on your style. You can also add captions. So you click on auto. So I'm going with English and you can just simply click on generate. Again, this works on the internet, so you need to be connected. For the audio tab, you can add sound effects such as the brush effect, the jump in, the whoosh, all those effects. If you click on sound effects, you can simply just search the click effect and you add them. You can just click on it to download and you listen. So for stickers, you can add emojis and stickers to your project as well. And for transition, I'm not going to use much of this. I'm going to use animation instead of transition. Now, if you want to add any transition, you can always do, but sometimes you don't need it. And for filters here, you basically have like lots built in. So you can just select any of these to apply. And for adjustments, you can either choose to insert an adjustment layer over here, or you come to LUT and import a LUT you've downloaded. So that is how you add LUTs to your project. Come up here to text and I can choose a preset. I'm not signed in, so I'm just going to add a normal text here. Now on the properties of the text, I'm going to change this to mobile phones. And for the font, you can click on this and change it to whatever font you would like to use. And I'm going to increase it a little bit. Now I'm going to go down. You can apply all of these styles, but what I'm looking for is drop shadow. I need the shadow. Yeah, it looks more visible. Okay, so I have it is mobile phone. So mobile phone starts saying itself from here. Mobile phones have taken over ourselves. So favorite, I'm just going to add another text here and write favorite. Favorites, change the text. You can as well just scroll and look for something you'd want to use. I'm just going to go with this one here. Increase it, scroll down and apply a drop shadow to it. And I'll change the color to yellow. Change it to yellow, or cream white, yeah, something like this, and put it a little bit down here. So it goes taking over some favorite gadgets, almost like tiny power. So here, right here, I'm going to apply a whoosh. Just going to search for whoosh. My internet is crap, so I'll just click on this to get this. Okay, so I'm just going to drag this whoosh sound and place it right here, and I want to apply a transition between these two clips. So I'm basically just going to click on the first one, come to transition, and what I'm looking for is the swipe effect. So I'll scroll and I have this swipe to the right. I'm just going to click on it, drag and drop between these two clips. So you're going to apply that transition. You can increase the duration or reduce the duration of that transition. So adjust this swoosh effect. Having a top-notch cam. Now you see the whoosh sound is too loud, so I'm just going to reduce that volume. I need it to be too high. Having a top-notch cam. It's too high again. Click on it, come to volume here and reduce it. Come to volume here and reduce it. Okay, so one thing about storytelling, because that's what I'm basically doing, is adding captions. So I'm going to add captions. Okay, so I've inserted the captions. Now the captions up here as linked text clips. So whatever edit you apply to one will apply to all, except of course you turn off this option apply to all. So I'll click on the captions here. Now you can basically just go to this captions tab and go through what has been typed. I always like to, have single lines. So I'm just going to click here and press enter to separate it. So this caption here is too small. Just increase it and hit enter from here. Okay, so I've scrubbed through my captions. So I'll come back to text, and I don't love the way the text looks, so I'm going to change the text to something like, no, let's look for better font. This one's too thick. Okay, let's go with this Apeco Pro and make it bold. Then we increase the size a little bit. Now we're just going to apply like a drop shadow to this, make it look. We still have to change that font. It doesn't give me the vibe of filming. Okay, so this one looks cool. Now let's go back to the beginning of the video. As you can see, you have to edit all of this. These days, mobile phones have taken over as our favorite guide. You can always click on this button here to view on full screen mode, but I have this crisp something looking just exact. It's almost like tiny, powerful computers that fit. Okay, so you can always adjust it because Capcut is not very accurate. It's like tiny, powerful computers that fit in our pockets. So I'm just going to rub through everything, add the sound effects. I've already shown you how to add them and the various transitions. After finishing everything and adding your music like I just did, just play through and make sure it's okay. When you're done, you click on export and you can copy these settings. I always allow it at this. Then you click on export to have your video exported. And after your video has exported, go and delete the proxy media if your video is already okay. If it is not, you come and adjust your edits, and that's all. If you found this helpful, subscribe to this channel and don't forget to leave a comment telling me what you would want to learn, and also like this video to enable others to learn from it. Thanks for watching. Until next time, T for Tech.